So inherently for this video, I was planning on listening to both The Allegory by Royce da 5'9" and Good Intentions by Nav, but I decided I want to listen to The Allegory, and I don't really care about Good Intentions, I just want to hear it, but I'm just bored right now, so I'm just going to make this video now since it's July 1st, and we're already halfway through 2020. I decided I'd go over all 11 albums, hip-hop albums this year I've already heard. I'm starting to review more hip-hop music, and I thought this would be a nice way to kind of get into the hip-hop reviewing. Hip-hop reviews do not come out nearly as frequently as just normal album reviews. I could get one out every week if I just did normal all-music album. However, I feel like I can judge hip-hop better than any other genre, so I'd rather just stick to that. But I'll get more reviews out in July. Hopefully big albums, maybe from Kanye, maybe from J. Cole, maybe from Kendrick, will come out in July. But for now, this is what I've heard. I've listened to 11 studio albums. I'm going to put timestamps in the description to each album so you can hear my opinions, and I'm going to give each one a letter grade at the end because that's how I'm going to review albums now. With movies, I'll give out of 10 ratings because I've just been doing that for years, and that's just what I've already able to do. But for album reviews, I think it's good if I give them a different set of ratings so you can kind of separate them, and I'm doing a letter scale for out of 10 ratings. And they're basically, okay, so I don't know if music fans will be watching this, they probably won't know this, but anybody who's a movie fan and watches Chris Stuckman, my rating scale is pretty much the same as his, only he rates movies. So if that makes any sense, I'm doing by A, B, C, D, just like that. A plus being the best, F being the worst. And I'm not going by normal school percentages. It's different. It's kind of complex, but I'm just going by that scale here because I feel like it can give me a different set. There are 11 albums. I'm going to go by them through release date. Well, the first one didn't technically come out in 2020, but I want to talk about it, and it was mostly just popular in 2020. It came out in December 2019, but I'm going to talk about it here. I might not include it on an end-year list, but I'll talk about it here. What's the harm of talking about it here? So there are 11 albums I listened to this year, so let's start with the first album. I didn't really know what to expect from Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial by Roddy Ricch. I kind of had this expectation of Roddy being just another... Okay, I kind of expected him to be a lot like the rappers he works with, like Ty Dolla $ign, people like that. I was very expected that it would just be the same one of those, but he definitely brought a lot more talent on this project than I really thought he would. It's not an amazing project, it's nothing fantastic, but I found pretty much enjoying all 15 songs on it. Certain songs like The Box and High Fashion are really enjoyable singles, and while nothing on this album strikes me as amazing or anything that really stuck with me to like an amazing extent, I've listened to The Box quite a lot. There's just an energy to this album, and mostly I think Roddy's voice that really works. He's able to go over beats, and his voice just works so well where he can stick in this group of rappers but kind of stand out amongst them. Like, he stands out in the rap game mostly because of who he's with. If this guy was working with like Kendrick Lamar and Travis Scott and Kanye West all the time, he wouldn't stand out as much, but since he's working with these, I'll just flat out say it, not as talented rappers, he's standing out quite a lot more. And this album was a huge, massive hit, so I'm really excited. Hopefully, in the next year or so to hear a second project from him, because I really enjoy this. It's not an amazing project, it's nothing that's going to blow you away if you listen to it, but it is quite enjoyable. And I'd give it a B+, honestly, which basically, if you're watching movie reviews, that means like 7 out of 10. It's not amazing, it's nothing mind-blowing, but it is quite an entertaining album, and something I could see myself listening to again. I enjoy it quite a lot. So, respectively, this is the first album of 2020. Respectively, it is. It's not what I'm counting as the first. Technically, it is, though. Technically, that is Circles by Mac Miller, the posthumous album from him. I do think I should have. I still haven't. I should have listened to a prior Mac Miller project before listening to this, because I didn't really know anything about Mac before this project. I just heard it was a good posthumous album, which surprises me usually, because posthumous albums a lot of the time really flop. But this is one of the best posthumous albums I think ever, honestly. This album is incredible. It actually is it's depressing and it's emotional and it's like a really sad album, but it's not in your face about it. There's nothing about this album that's grand. It's just very calm, very somber, very slow, and I just really love that. I pretty much love every song on this album. Pretty much all of them I loved. Songs like Good News. Good News might be my favorite song of the year. It is an amazing song. It is so slow, just quiet, minimalistic. Songs like Circles, Everybody, just a really amazing piano cover of Everybody's Gotta Live by Love, which is just an amazing song already. Just so much about this album just struck me as amazing. I can't even really think of an area where this album just went wrong. Just his producers and Mac Miller's label brought us a really meaningful posthumous album, and I think the best they could have done. I don't know if we'll get more posthumous projects from Mac Miller's old works. It would be interesting to hear them, but this is a pretty incredible album, honestly, and I'm probably going to listen to more Mac Miller after this. Honestly, I give it an A. It's not an A+, because I feel like I'm going to make that rating really hard to get, because I haven't hit it yet, but yeah, incredible album. Just incredible, honestly. I've already touched on this album a bit in my which Eminem album is his best. I reviewed Music to Be Murdered By. I didn't give it a rating, but I've talked about the album already. Overall, how do I feel about Music to Be Murdered By? I like it. I do have a problem with him releasing it on I didn't even realize this last time. I think he should have released this a week later, because it totally outshined Mac Miller's album, which is far better. But I do still enjoy this quite a lot as a project. I think it shows something when Eminem can kind of still be this relevant. Like, this feels a lot like the best of Revival and the best of Kamikaze into one, which I don't like Revival at all, and I think Kamikaze is okay. So the result is a pretty good album. Well, I think songs like Leaving Heaven, You Go and Learn, Darkness, and Godzilla are some of my favorite songs of the entire year. Other than that, this album doesn't really have much impact or meaning behind it. It's just, at this point with Eminem, I'm fine with kind of whatever, as long as it's just entertaining and has just entertainment from it. As an Eminem fan, I'll accept it, and I'll basically listen to and enjoy, unless it's just objectively trash. I'll enjoy pretty much everything he puts out at this point. Every project he puts out, I'll have some level of enjoyment to. Like, even I Hate Revival, but I still enjoy tracks like Castle and a Rose off that. I'm not even sure if I went more in depth on the Eminem video like last week, but I did talk about every Eminem album there, so if you want to watch that, you can go watch that. But I like this album fine. I give it a B+. I think it's good. I don't think it's one of his best projects to date, but it's certainly a listenable, enjoyable project. Definitely that. Alright, next is Funeral by Lil Wayne. I'm just shocked that Lil Wayne is still a thing. Like, okay, I know how influential he is to rap, and albums, the first 3 Carter albums, maybe 4, are all very influential albums. They're albums I, just honest to God, haven't heard. But the reason why I've never heard a full-length Lil Wayne project till now is because I've never seen the appeal of him. Like, I know he's so influential, but there's never been like a single from him that I just love. There's songs from him I enjoy fine. There are verses from him that I really like, but his best song is only his best song because Eminem's on it, which is Drop the World. But just like, what is he doing? Is every album he's made this just this terrible? There's like not a song on this album that is of any enjoyment, and it's 24 tracks. This is like double LP length, and I just found no enjoyment in any song on this. I found nothing interesting on it. It just feels so repetitive, so like useless, and it's so long and long-winded. I just I could have just never listened to this, and I would have not changed as a human being. I couldn't care for this album less. I just don't understand, because I know this man's influential, but I bet you, and I know that his other albums are better than this. If I went and listened to the Carter 5, I bet you'd be better than that. I don't know why this is his move after the Carter 5. From the opening track, you'd think this will be a little more reflective project from him, but nope. It's just pretty much pure trash, honestly. I'd give this a D. I never ever want to listen to this again. So boring. If I were to pick the album that I feel like for some reason everybody in the world simultaneously was like, this is the most anticipated hip-hop album of the year. This album had a lot of hype, weird bit of hype. I don't even know the story behind this. I should probably read that before I criticize the hype behind this project. I think there is a hype for this because I do still think that there is a love for Lil Uzi, and he has a huge fan base. A lot of people love him. And after listening to Love Is Rage 2, before listening to this, after listening to that, I just really didn't care for him. Like, I kind of get the appeal, but I also find his voice so grating and annoying. So I really went into Eternal Atake with the lowest expectations, and this is far better than Love Is Rage 2. But it's not very good. It's very, very just throwaway, kind of forgettable. There's really high production. That's what I can give this album. I really like a lot of the production on some of these tracks. But overall, what comes across is when I sit back and reflect, I can think Baby Pluto was a song, P2 is a song, and I haven't listened to Lil Uzi Vert versus the Worlds 2, which is basically the extended version of this. Maybe that's more enjoyable, maybe that's better, but I expected, honestly, a little bit more from this album, considering the amount of hype and attention this had. It's just kind of there. It kind of just did nothing for me. I do think sometimes in this album, the production's done well, where it outdoes the grating voice, and the production is more of a focus than Lil Uzi's voice, but whenever they focus on his voice, it just becomes so grating and annoying. Overall, I really wish I could have enjoyed this. I know a lot of people really love it, but it should be told, it's just one of the most throwaway albums of the year. I just really didn't need to hear this. My day would have been no different if I didn't listen to this project. It's not the worst project of the year, but it's something not really worth my time, really your time anyway. I give it a C+. It has high production, it has enjoyability, but not really something I care to listen to. The next project is The Weeknd's After Hours. This is one of my most anticipated albums of the year. And I don't know if you can really call this a hip-hop album. I'm calling it one mostly because Wikipedia says it's one, and I listened to it, and I just want to talk about it. Overall, The Weeknd is somebody I've really been a fan of for a long time. I think Beauty Behind the Madness is a really great, kind of very down-to-earth, dark, like trap R&B album, and I think the same about Starboy. Starboy's a little higher up in like, I guess, tone. I like Beauty Behind the Madness a little more. I think there's a little more memorable songs off of it, but both are pretty enjoyable albums. And I think After Hours, going into it with the 3 singles I had, I don't know if this would be his best project, but I did have high expectations. I really like Blinding Lights. I think it's a nice, basically, callback to the 80s. There's a really entertaining chorus, really great vocals from The Weeknd, who has one of the best voices in just music current right now. And other singles like Heartless were really nice, just a really nice trap anthem, and also songs, and then the other single, After Hours, which I just like. I just enjoy the way that song is trapped together. It's just being very raw. And this album is able to combine all the different, very different sounds of all 3 songs and just make it into one consistently enjoyable project. I enjoy all 14 songs off of this. There's 80 callbacks to it. There's R&B on it. There's very much trap, hip hop on it. There's also really nice, what am I saying? It has very raw production. I really enjoy this. Like, I really am happy to hear The Weeknd still making, like, just doing 3 pretty great albums in a row. And this is his best, honestly. I think the other 2 I'd probably give around B+, but I'd probably give this an A-. I really enjoyed this, and I really want to hear just more projects from The Weeknd. I know we're gonna get more. He's so insanely popular, but yeah, great guy, and has one of the best voices, and he released a fantastic LP. I'm about to go ham on this album. ADHD is my most anticipated album of the year, or was my most anticipated album of the year. And my reason for that is what Joyner had proved in 2016 and 17 with 508. I would say, honestly, I'm Sorry is the best hip-hop song of 2016, that entire year. And it's honestly one of my favorite hip-hop songs, like, ever. That song is so well put together and so meaningful. And singles like I'm Not Racist are also fantastic. Keep It 100. There's so much in the verse Unlucky You. And there are also some great singles from this project. So I had no reason to think this would be bad, besides the fact they released 9 singles. But this is just disappointing. This is like all I can say. It has no voice and no message from Joyner. I felt like when listening to this project, I was listening to a man who already kind of established what he was about. More storytelling, introspective message rap. Just creating a rip-off bland album like this. Overall with the singles, they're all very different, and that's the problem. I enjoy singles like Isis, even though it's not a great song. It definitely has a nice Logic verse and has a nice beat and nice hook and just has a nice performances over it. I enjoy the really angry, loud Revenge. I think it's an enjoyable song. And I enjoy ADHD despite the fact that Juice WRLD could have done a lot better. But other than like those 3 songs, this album just comes across as just completely unoriginal and bland. There are these skits across the entire thing that I really just don't understand why they're on here. They kind of make no sense, and they're just cringy, honestly. And even though he released 9 of the 14 songs of this album before the album came out, like, I had already heard almost this entire project. And then once the project came out, I honestly really didn't care. And any new of the 5 songs, none of them really stood out. I guess I like I Lie. I like that as an opening track. But songs like Goldmine and The War and what is it even? Can't Love? I don't even remember the name of it. Just this whole project didn't need to exist. It just comes across as so useless and phoned in, and I just wish Joyner put more energy and excitement into this. Because I love this man. I love what he's put out already, but this just comes across as just lazy, and I just really, really hope that if he does go second album, this is a successful album. If he makes another album, I hope it's better than this, because this just had no voice and no message at all. And he's put out some good guest verses since the project, so I know he has the talent, and I know he can make a great LP, because he made 508, which was a great album, a great mixtape. But this is just not my thing. I just really didn't care for this, honestly. C-. I'm going there. I really did not care for this, honestly. And I really wish I enjoyed it more than I did, but I honestly didn't enjoy this at all. Dababy is currently the #1 rapper in the world right now, which is not surprising. He has the #1 single in the world right now, which is a song I love. I love Rockstar. What did I really expect to hear on Blame It On Baby? Well, I expected to hear another totally useless Dababy album. Thus far, he's put out 3 LPs. First, you did Baby on Baby, which I didn't really care for at all. One of the most useless albums of 2019. And then you put out Kirk, as useless. Maybe a few more entertaining songs, but just nothing on that song came across as, on the entire album came across as interesting. Just 11 or 10 songs that I didn't really care for. And Blame It On Baby is the same story. Again, I don't know exactly where this man's popularity is coming from. He's just kind of the most useless person right now. Like, whenever everybody called Big Sean the most unessential rapper, Dababy is that for me. He's like that for me. This man has put out nothing I found interesting. He's put out Rockstar, which is an entertaining single. Other than that, though, this man's put out nothing interesting. I barely have a word to say about this project. It's just boring, honestly. I just found that 30 minutes this album is to go by longer than the 2 hours and 12 minutes that All Eyes on Me is. I really didn't care for this. C. I have like barely anything to say. It's just totally uninteresting. I'll keep it brief on Dark Lane demo tapes because I've already kind of talked about this album. I talked about it a lot on I made a whole review on this. I made an album thoughts on this. But when it comes to Drake, he's somebody I never have really found entertaining or really that likable. I think he's put out some good singles overall, but he's somebody who just is he thinks he's so much better than he really is, and it results in just making pretty uninteresting, bland albums. But this is a lot better than I thought it would be. It's the reason why I think this is actually probably one of his best projects to date is because, number one, he gives so much more energy and talent on this. There's so much more of a raw feel to this. Number two, pretty much every song is likable. There are a couple I didn't care for, like Deep Pockets and Pain 1993. Both songs didn't really care for. But most of this album is pretty enjoyable, and it's pretty quick, and it's pretty raw. Songs like Chicago Freestyle, Landed, and Tootsie Slide are some songs that, even though they're demo tracks and they're not that high-produced, that rawness is put to very well, and they're very well put together, entertaining albums. And while I can't say that every single thing that Drake has put out on this album is great, it's still something I found worth listening to. It's nothing I loved. There's something amazing about this album, but it's a lot more raw and a lot more real than things like Scorpion. And I guess he released the Care Package last year, which I didn't listen to. I heard Money in the Grave, which is a fantastic single, but Not a great, I highly doubt Care Package is that good. But Dark Lane demo tapes, I like it. I'm interested to hear what his LP later this year will sound like. It'll probably be a double LP for some reason. I would give Dark Lane demo tapes a B. That's what I feel. It's a good album, nothing amazing, but certainly entertaining. KSI's Dissimulation is the second to last album I plan to talk about today. Second to last, there's one more after this. You know I went into this album with the lowest expectations. If you've watched this channel, I've never made a full video on him, but I have talked about KSI enough in a very hateful way. I hate this person on YouTube. I think he's genuinely an embarrassment to the entire website. And his music sucks too. Prior to this, he had released diss tracks, singles, and he'd released nothing I really cared for. And honestly, I just don't really like YouTubers rapping. I think YouTubers can rap all they want as long as they're interested and they love the craft of rap. There are certain rappers like Quadeca whom are just on YouTube to rap because it's a great way to get your music out there. So if you're I like it when you're first rapper, then YouTuber, and you can be, I guess, YouTuber, then rapper, but don't just rap for the sake of rapping. Like, don't be rice gum. But I genuinely do think after listening to this that KSI has a passion for it. Because this is better than 90% of these other, KSI's Dissimulation is better than albums like Funeral, it's better than ADHD, it's better than Blame It On Baby, it's better than Eternal Atake. This is better than a lot of high-produced albums this year. It's insane to hear that, and I think the reason why is because there are certain tracks on them where I can just tell KSI loves this. He seems like he really wants to do this, and I'm really happy that he actually has a chance to make this project. It's not an amazing project, but I was surprised to find this somewhat thoroughly enjoyable. Like, yeah, there are a lot of songs this album that I don't care for. I didn't care for No Cap. The opening track, I don't even remember what it's been on, like What You Been On, I think is what it's called. I don't care for. Poppin' with Lil Pump. I hate Lil Pump, so I just didn't care for that. But the rest of this project is easy to listen to and enjoyable. I actually think Domain, I put it on a playlist of best songs of 2020. I put a KSI song there. That's surprising to me, and I really want to hear, I kind of want to hear another album from him. I genuinely do. I don't want it to be too extensive. I don't want him to go too big. I just think KSI's gruff voice and his energy can make something really great. There are a lot of really great features on this album. He clearly has a position in rap now. And if he continues to take that position well, and I continue to separate the art from the artist, we could get a pretty good KSI project. This isn't amazing, it's not perfect, it's not really anything new, but it's a lot better than some albums this year from huge artists. I'd give this a B-. It's actually kind of enjoyable, surprisingly enjoyable. The last album I'll talk about on here is actually an album I want to talk about so bad. This is one of my most anticipated albums of the year, Run the Jewels RTJ4. Run the Jewels has been one of the most consistent acts in recent years. They have put out, basically, prior to this, they put out 3 just albums better than the last. They first came with their first project, Run the Jewels, which came off of Rap Music by Killer Mike, which LP produced. They came together, LP and Killer Mike came together making a really great first album. They came a year later with Run the Jewels 2, which I also loved. I loved it even more. Then Run the Jewels 3, which I genuinely think competes with The Life of Pablo for Best Album of 2016. That is how good these guys have gone. And RTJ4 is one of the best albums of this year. I love pretty much all 11 songs on this. I revisit pretty much all of them. I think they put so much energy and talent in every song. And this is just a duo I just enjoy. I feel like both of them have their own sticks that they're able to combine to make just entertaining songs overall. They make very high energy, very rough songs. Honestly, Ooh La La, songs like that, Out of Sight, Radiation, are some of the best songs I think all year. This is just a duo who knows their craft. They know what they're doing. They clearly have a lot of roots in hip-hop. They've been in this game for years, and they're putting out fantastic work now. I'm really excited to hear, I don't know when RTJ5 will come out, but they've put out 4 great albums in a row, and if they can do that 5 times in a row, that'd be great. If I were to rank them, my worst of the Run the Jewels projects, I love all 4, but the worst would be first one, then the second worst is Run the Jewels 2, then RTJ4 is my second favorite, and my favorite would still be Run the Jewels 3, but this is just a great album. Even if it's not their technical best, it's close. This is just a lovable album overall. And they did so much, I need to close this notification, to make this a great album. I'm feeling an A-. I really love this. And I really, really think our Run the Jewels has put together, they're a duo that has gave us some fantastic work thus far. Just simply amazing. All right, so that was every single album I've listened to in 2020 thus far. I will try and get out reviews. I don't think when I listen to an album I'll get a review for it, but when a new album releases and it's from a rapper I am familiar with, and if a new album releases from a rapper, like I honestly don't know if I'm going to review a lot of projects from people like, let's say, I know Lil Yachty put in an album this year. Like that's not a project I care to review because I don't really care to listen to Lil Yachty, but I will try and go out of my way to listen to more projects like that. I'll try and go more out of my way. And by the end of this year, I should have good top 10 worst, top 10 best. I'm not going to go all into this because nicely enough, I can do review rap music and at the same time when hopefully movies come back to theaters, review movies weekly, which I'm not done with movie reviews. I think people think that's the case. It's not the case. I have more reviews. I don't know when the next movie I feel like reviewing. I'll probably review My Spy. If I really don't care, but I'll watch it because I know it's been waited for a year. What do you guys think? What are your guys' favorite albums of the year? What are your least favorite albums of the year? Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe. And yeah, I'm actually really excited for the next stuff of this year. There are a lot of the albums that people are talking about this year have not come out yet. Like, we know God's Country comes out in pretty soon, hopefully. New Kendrick Lamar, new J. Cole. I know there's supposed to be a new Nas project. I don't know if that's happening. But if it does happen, oh my God, that's my most anticipated album of the year. Okay, Kendrick Lamar is more anticipated, but new Nas, come on. See you guys next time. Bye.